Hi, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade leaders. It's Christy. We're preparing for September 17th. And this week we're talking about Peter and Jesus and Peter's relationship with Jesus. Peter was always the gung-ho disciple. He was always the one to jump out and say, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. And then all of a sudden, poor Peter, he finds himself in a mess of trouble a lot of times. Either walking on water and falling because he didn't trust enough, or out there where people are asking him about Jesus and he's denying him. And so poor Peter, he has more to be forgiven for because he just keeps stepping in it. I think this is a great lesson to talk about with kids. We all step in it. We all do things we thought we weren't going to do. We also all do things maybe that we were planning and intentionally did. But Jesus came to erase all of that from God's memory so that he could just see us and love us and be there to protect us. One thing I want to make sure that you understand, though, through the month of September and maybe further if we need to, that these activities that I'm going over with you, they're there to help you have a great small group time, but you're the small group leader. And if there's a day where your small group needs for you to just be their small group leader and not necessarily help them understand the story of the day better, you just need to be there to listen to them or be there to play with them. I want you to know that you'll have the freedom to do that as their small group leader. We're building small groups so that we can build those relationships with kids, because fun over time and time over time helps us get these truths to kids where they can understand it. But we've got to build that relationship with them first before we have the opportunity to share Jesus with them every time. So I believe with all of me that if you're there and you're loving on kids, then you're showing them Jesus, okay? So I'm going to go over the activities with you, but if you need to not do the activities this week, you have the freedom to do that. Your opening activity is an activity called Why Do You Love Your Neighbor? And if we've had the opportunity to have small group already for a few weeks, you may want to change this game up a little bit and talk about ways that the kids have seen people loving their neighbors, or ways that they'd like to see people loving their neighbors better. Like maybe they've gone back to school now and maybe they are back in all of their activities. What are some things that feel like people are not realizing that we've all been through the devastation that we all just lived through with Harvey? So feel free to adjust that game however you need to make that work for your small group. Then we'll go to large group and do our worship time together. And then in your basket, you'll have 3 large pieces of paper, probably rolled up like this. And I've gone ahead and written the words and drawn some pictures on these. Actually written the words that we need to write on these. Your papers are not going to have those words already written on there. So if you have a small group leader or a small group kid that writes really well and you want them to write the words on there, you are welcome to do that. Or if you can do this while you're talking through the stories with kids, you're welcome to do that too. So 1 piece of paper for each category, and you have car, activities, school, and home. I'm going to put these down so it doesn't make so much noise. But what you're going to do is put those pieces of paper, maybe you want to put them on some tables around you. If you have some tables around you, if you have some walls near you, you're welcome to put them up on walls. And kids are supposed to go around to those pieces of paper and to they're supposed to put things on those pieces of paper for things that they feel like they have to put up with. Now, you may have to help define that for kids. In other words, what we want kids to try to start processing are what are some things that people do that we have to put up with because we're learning to forgive them for what they're doing. So maybe that's a kid in their class that is always, always, always talking and nobody else gets to talk. Or maybe there's a kid in the class that always needs to go to the bathroom. Like they never know how to take a break, and they just really, I don't know, whatever distraction thing that happens in the class. Maybe some of the kids are dealing with that. Maybe they are the distraction and they're trying to figure out how they can get some attention. And so ultimately what we want kids to process through this is what are those things that we need to be aware of happen in our day-to-day life, either in the car, at school, in our different activities that we're a part of, or at home, that we have to learn to forgive as well, just like Jesus had to forgive Peter. Great activity, great way to start the discussion. If you don't end up spending a lot of time on the paper part of it, that's okay. The discussion is much more important, so that you're listening and hearing what kids have to say and the things that they need to learn to forgive from. And then also be aware of, as they are sharing those things, don't condemn each other for the things that they're learning to forgive for. Be there to help support them and encourage them and tell them that you'll be there to pray for them, that the next time that happens, that maybe they'll choose a different response because they've learned that they need to learn to forgive. So that's that activity for the week. In your baskets, your memory verse activity, you've had some balls in your baskets this month. You'll pass a ball to a kid and they're supposed to name a time when a friend needs for them to love them. Again, as we're continuing to make it through the aftermath of Harvey, all of us are needing some extra love and grace and forgiveness. And so maybe this week they've seen some ways that they wish maybe that somebody had responded differently, or they wish that they had the resources to help take care of someone. Pay attention to those things. If there's ways that we as a church can help meet those needs for people, we want to be there to help meet those needs. And then you will pray and dismiss everybody. Don't forget your God time cards. This is a good time to encourage your 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders in particular. They're old enough, they can read, to get in their word and get in the word and figure out exactly what God's word says to us. It is his love story to us about Jesus, so that we could build that relationship with God. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.